tip.
Good afternoon. It is July 21st, 2019. You're listening to A Little Column A, Little Column B, hosted by Will Limonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How you doing today, buddy?
What is going on today, Will? Down in North Carolina, it was a woman's birthday. Husband racked his brain. What is my wife like? What should I get her? Just does the simplest yet most genius thing in the world. Goes to the bakery, has him make an Amazon package. You gotta see a picture of this, man. It looks exactly like a package. It does not look like a cake. It's got the box. It's got the black ribbon tape around it. It's got a packaging logo. It's unreal. If you could have something made for your birthday in cake form, what would it be?
A pie.
Pie.
Well,
Pie.
we've had this discussion before. I'm very against cake. I'm very pro pie.
So you want a cake that looks like a pie?
No,
That
I just
seems doable.
I just want a pie instead. I don't want a cake.
Like a cheesecake.
I mean, I would like a cheesecake. I have nothing against cheesecake, but let's be honest, cheesecake is a pie.
I don't know. Cake's right in the name.
I know it's in the name, but if you were to, all right, in terms of the process of making it, is it more like a pie or more like a cake?
Oh, you're asking a lot of questions.
Oh, no. I'm asking the right questions. These are like
I don't think I've ever made a cheesecake. I don't know how it works. I just know it's got cake in the name.
all right,
Makes
what
it
kind
real
of
simple.
does a cake have a crust?
I don't know what kind of cake.
All right, does a cheesecake have a crust?
I think cheesecake has a crust. Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Oh, what kind of crust? Does it have a pie crust?
Graham cracker crust.
Yeah, I guess that's the right answer. But that's a pie crust. Is that not the same? Is that the graham cracker thing? Is that? Not? All right, maybe I'm in a territory I'm not very familiar with here. I just feel very strongly for pies and very against cakes. Cakes can go so wrong. All right, pies. Even the worst pie is better than the worst cake. The worst cake is awful. It's got crappy frosting. It's chewy. It's dense. It's all wrong. There's a bunch of things that can go wrong with pie.
I had forgotten your very anti-cake stance, and clearly forgot that as I made this the opening topic. This one's a little bit on me. I should listen more on the podcast and remember stuff.
I actually like it. I thought you were setting me up for that. I thought that's exactly what you wanted me to do. And now looking back at it, you really wanted me to give a suggestion of some stupid cake design.
That's what I thought, and then it was going to work out, and then I was like, oh, Zach, what would yours be? And then boom, and then we're off to the races.
All right,
and then no.
I could I can still play along with this. It's a very slow week right now, so we're limited topics here. So I will extend this opening topic. Let's see. What would I do if I could have any? I don't. I really want it just to taste good. I don't really care what it looks like. Is that? Am I so wrong?
It's gonna taste amazing.
All right. If as long as you can guarantee me that, I don't really care what it looks like. If it had to look like something, I just want it to look appetizing. I don't need it to look like anything. I don't want it to look like a Jordan shoe. I don't want to be eating a shoe.
What is appetizing to you? That's the whole point of this question.
Like a cake. It doesn't even be a tower cake. Just a cake. Just one row. One clean thing.
You'd like a stubby cylindrical cake. What color?
I don't know, like egg cream, eggshell.
Egg cream?
I don't know, like a tan. I'm imagining.
Isn't that what you paint like your bathroom?
Yeah. I thought that'd be funny, but it didn't. It sounded better in my mind.
So you want a bathroom colored cake that tastes delicious.
I don't want a cake at all. I want a pie.
You want a pie? That's right. Yeah, you want a pie. When's your birthday again? You're not getting anything. You've lost your birthday privileges. You're done for 2019. Maybe in 2020.
Look, you asked me
You're
what.
done.
I don't understand. I feel like I'm doing you a favor. I'm doing everyone else a favor. Don't give me a cake. Give me a pie.
I don't think you're gonna get anything from anybody.
I don't think I'm gonna get anything. I don't really get a lot from everyone, anyways. I wasn't asking for that either.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if you're gonna get me something, don't get me a cake. All right.
See how difficult you are? People are like, oh, Will, he's a pretty good guy. You know what? Let's get him a cake for his birthday. And then clearly they come in with a cake that's not eggshell colored and not a pie. And
I think if I made it
I
more,
imagine that you have some sort of visceral reaction. Have you destroyed a cake before? Have you, flipped it off the table?
look, I've just
Let people know that you are.
I've had a lot of bad overrated cake in my life. All right, a lot of birthday parties I would attend, a lot of just any old party that they just had a cake for. A lot of the cake's been bad, and I know a lot of people that would agree with me, and that's everybody would agree with me. We've all had bad cake before. Some people have that sweet tooth where they're like, I don't care, it's sugar, it's sweet, I don't care what it tastes like. That's fine. It's good enough for me. Me, I don't like the sweet stuff. It's got to taste good. I can't just be straight sugar. I don't need straight sugar to feed whatever sugar intolerance people have. That I don't need that. We're really getting to know me today. Huh? I'm really selling the audience. I'm like, yeah, what a likable guy. You know what? You know what you gave me for my birthday? We were talking about this the other day. We'll transition to this. This is perfect. The Cameo thing. I think that's a good birthday gift idea. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that. I thought that was fun. You said you had heard of it before, and I seem to remember we had talked about something similar on the podcast. And this one that I most recently found was called Cameo, and it had a whole bunch of different celebrities, and for different price points depending on how famous the celebrity was. You could have them record a short message for I was going to say a friend, but it could be for anybody really.
Yeah, no, I think it's a cool idea. It's funny the list of people that are on there, and then as well as some of the price range options are kind of ridiculous. I mean, how much would you? I mean, just kind of off the bat, I know you looked at the site a little bit, but who's somebody that you would actually want to get a greeting from, and how much would you want to pay for that? Like idea, like a fair price. Obviously, you wouldn't want to pay anything if you could just have it, but just in a more ideal world, what do you think it would realistically would cost you?
I had looked through, and I thought it was interesting some like the orders that they went in. Of It's like there were some people that I thought were more famous were cheaper than some of the other guys. So just interesting how that worked out. But I thought the Scal one, Brian Scalabrine, I think he was like right around $50, and that seemed like be a cool present for somebody. Like somebody like you. It's like I can get you like another T-shirt, I can get you like some other stuff, like cool stuff I found on Amazon. But here's something like doesn't take up any room. It's more of like an experience, and it's definitely outside the box, I would say.
Yeah, and I think it's a great idea. It's a lot more affordable than you think. The only I think downside of it is you have to go into the mindset of being like, I don't know who I'm looking for. I'm just looking for somebody like within this price range, and you'll find somebody on the Cameo site. Versus if you go in specifically looking for somebody, like if you wanted Steve Carell and he's like $500, I think there's a couple of those guys, and I don't know if that's entirely worth it. You know, the one thing I know is you can type up the message. Like you can basically give them an entire script of what you want to say. You can't.
Was there a count, like a word count or a time count? And there must be some sort of limit. You can't just be endless. But I was wondering, was it like do you basically get, hey, this is Carson Edwards, happy birthday from your buddy, and it's like that it, or you can like have like a little more?
I think you can do a lot more. So the only reason I know about this is they have this on Howard Stern. Howard Stern has a bunch of regular radio callers and fans that call into his show, and they're not even really celebrities. They're just famous from the show, and a lot of them are goofy, weird people that have like very specific issues in life. I'll just say, like they're called the Whack Pack, right? This is a very specific group of individuals. They're not like a whole lot of other people. These aren't the people that should be famous, but they're people that are famous for a variety of reasons. But they're all on the show, and all the people that are fans of the show have them do their birthday greetings and cameo appearances. So that's kind of how I know all of it. Now, a lot of those people, you'll ask them to do just one simple thing, and then they'll just go off on a tangent for like 10 minutes. It's like a Bill Walton like broadcast. All of a sudden, it's like, well, I just asked you for happy birthday, and suddenly you're telling me about birds. I don't know. I don't know how we got into that. We're not even talking about bird law. We're just talking about birds. I don't know where we're going with this. So, as well as some of them don't even actually say the message either. Knowing this crew a little bit more, I'm sure you could understand it, and it'd actually be funny to you. But that's how I know a lot about it. So I don't really know who draws the lines. I don't know if you get your money back if they don't say what you wanted to say. But also, I think you kind of just want to see them be themselves for a little bit. And if that's what they want to do, that's kind of worth paying for. I don't know. It's a very strange idea. The one cool thing is that we can be on Cameo. Do you think anyone would ever pay for any of us to give them a birthday wish or any sort of greeting?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. You could have given me a little bit more support than that. That was a long pause right here. I thought we lost you on the other end.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was trying to think of some sort of positive spin on this, but no. Nope. Because I'm pretty sure if someone asked me, just, hey, would you mind recording this for free? Then I would probably just do it because I'd just be flattered right there.
Have you learned nothing from The Dark Knight? If you're good at something, never do it for free.
we good at saying messages for people?
I think we're just as good as everyone else that's on that site, other than a select
We're not
few.
as famous. Not nearly as famous.
All right, fine. We will just send people pie from here on. All right. I think that's the real solution to everything is pie.
Yeah, maybe there's a pie person that's willing to pay you to talk at their or give a cameo for their pie friends.
They're pie
This
friends.
is the guy. This is the podcast pie guy. He's sticking up for us. He's our guy.
You know, if all things to become famous for, that would be really disappointing if that's what it was. If that was my launching point into my, stellar radio career was like, yeah, this guy had a podcast. He just talked about pies a lot. I don't know why. It never came up in topics. He would just find ways to work it in.
Just every time.
Every time. Maybe I should adjust the bio on the website. If you haven't been to the website, make sure you go check out our bios on there, lcalcb.com. You get to learn a little bit about me, learn a little bit about Zach. You'll learn a lot more by just listening, but if you want the shortcut version, check out lcalcb.com, as well as check out all the old podcasts as well. Don't forget about Zach's Twitter. If you want to get a hold of him and see what's going on in his everyday life, you can reach him at
Wicked Z-Man 24.
Wicked Z-Man 24. All right, so one thing that's kind of been exciting for this week, which is there's not a whole lot of sports things that have been exciting, but do you want to talk about this Dynasty League at all? Is that too nerdy? Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little too much? All right, fine.
It's pretty nerdy. We can tap on it a little bit. Yeah, Will and I got into a 30-team fantasy basketball Dynasty League last week. Yeah, last week. It's a slow draft, and then with 30 teams, so we've only made a handful of picks so far and still have a handful to go. It's kind of, like you said, it's the middle of the summer, so kind of far away, but it's definitely interesting because there's a lot of guys that even with regular fantasy you don't really come across too much, as well as it's also there's a salary cap involved, so they're trying to make it as much like being an actual GM as possible. So I think it's just it's definitely a fun thing to do in the summer. I'm sure I'll have fun once the season starts with it, but just kind of a cool, hey, here's a little fantasy stuff to kind of tide me over until fantasy football starts in the next couple of weeks.
The one thing that's cool about this league is after it's set, after this year, essentially we'll just draft rookies every year after, but it never really ends then because you can kind of always be in trade talks with whoever.
Yeah.
So I like that part of it. The draft part is exhausting though, especially with the salary cap, because even at the point we're well past halfway through the draft right now, and it's just digging on, do we want somebody who we know what we're going to get for maybe the next year or two, or do you want somebody that maybe pops and becomes somebody? And then how much do we want to agree to pay on this person? Do we want to blow some salary cap now and take some chances, or do we want to hold off and, really just have a bunch of more penny stock kind of things? And that has been the trickier part of all this, as well as it's a real test of your fantasy knowledge. It is a real test because now I almost feel like we're college recruiters right now. We're not even – these guys aren't even in the league yet. Some of these guys haven't played. Some of these guys may have played 1 minute and they got moved, or some of them hurt last year, and you're just guessing and hoping. I know that's generally all fantasy is, but to do it at this stage where, hey, man, one of these picks may really really turn things around for the next 4 years. One of these guys may actually pop. That's a kind of hitting. I'm enjoying that part of it, is that maybe one of these it's like real gambling, for me. It's like a long-term payout. It's not just going to turn around next year. We can still hold out. Dante Exum, he's still going to be the guy.
I'm pretty sure in a standard fantasy league, it's I think it's 15 guys and would be 10 teams. So you're looking at like the 150, roster pool. Willie, like I said, we're over halfway, but we're at like pick 260 something right now, and we still have 6 more picks to go, and it's a 30-team league, so there's a bunch more picks to go. You're not even at the this is a rookie, and because it's dynasty, like rookies come at a premium. You're looking at second and third year guys, like you said, that haven't played much or they got injured, and you're just really kind of getting tricky on looking at like what kind of opportunities do they have, like what guy in front of them could get hurt, and just all these little things. And I agree with you, it seems like it's a little more of a gamble than before, but you're kind of looking at the long range of, okay, maybe he doesn't pop this year, but could he become good in 2 years, or not even good, just could he get some minutes, like add some points.
I feel like it's hard to do either way, but there's definitely been points where I'm like trade asset. Like this guy's not going to do anything for my team, but I'm going to dangle him out in front of the right team, and somebody's going to trade for him. That is like the entire basis of this league now. Like that, I think that's the whole point. If we just want to get somebody that maybe someone will give us something of value, and we can exchange it. Trades are developing already. I think you have to go into a plan like that. But I've enjoyed kind of fulfilling my time doing that. That has really stopped this just horrendous time of year right now. I should probably go outside more. I don't know. I live in San Diego. There's only so much you could do outside, right?
What I thought was funny was a couple of weeks ago, before I got into this league, and I was just kind of toying with the idea of doing it, and I asked you, and we're pretty adamant on no, I don't want to do that. It seems like too much. No, I don't want to. But then I got into it, and then was like, hey, I could use some help. You want to be on the team? What do you want your title to be? And then you kind of thought about it a little bit. And you're like, West Coast Scout, and then now you've jumped in with both feet, and we've been back and forth throughout the weekend. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And it is really nice to have someone to like just throw ideas off of.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially at this sort of depth. I don't have like shout out to anybody in this league who's actually doing this all alone, because we're deep into it right now. I think being able to bounce ideas off of one another and really kind of guess it on a future that is a guess. It's entirely a guess. I just think it helps to have another kind of point of view, or at least someone to refresh yourself with. Because there's even a couple of guys right now. I'm like, man, I remember that guy. There was one guy we saw we saw him play. We saw the guy play for Huggins like 2 years ago. I completely forgot who this guy was.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Carter.
do you want to draft him? And I'm like, oh, I remember him being pretty good in live. I saw him in person. I feel like a real scout now. I actually have some tips on this. Yeah, actual reporting.
We saw him the same day we saw Ja Morant. Before he was Ja Morant.
Yeah, no, that's
Demetrius.
been fun. So I've been doing a lot of that this week.
And that's been your obscure NBA Dynasty update.
Well, I got a feeling this isn't going to be the end of this. Like this, we may pop in, maybe not every week, but every so often this league may get an update here. Like especially after we start making playoffs and championships and all that. I think the viewers need to know.
We are doing it together, so it's kind of like it's the podcast team at this point.
Well, I just want us to feel a little bit more qualified. I think this is our proof right now. When we show a resume of this is how people know to take us seriously and to buy us pie.
All the pie you can get your hands on.
So I've been doing that a lot this week. Another thing I did do this week, I did see the new Tarantino movie, and I don't want to get into all that. I really enjoyed the movie. If you're a huge fan of Tarantino, I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy the movie. Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, a whole bunch of other regular Tarantino features of Kurt Russell and a couple others. A couple of people that were cut out of the movie that are in the movie, or that are in the their parts got cut out. Some famous actors actually didn't even make it to the final cut. And I bring this all up because I really want to talk about movie length.
Before you quite go to that, why don't you tell people what the name of the movie is?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
All right, there you go. Figure at least mention what the name of it is if you're not all wrapped up in all things Quentin Tarantino. But anyway, continue.
What I really want to talk about is movie length. I mean, this is kind of a longer movie. I'd say just under 3 hours. I know Endgame recently, the Avengers movie, recently broke the record for box office sales, ticket sales, and that was over 3 hours. And I kind of just went back and I looked at some other like movie classics. Like I know The Godfather is probably maybe just under 3 hours. I want to say like almost exactly 3 hours. How long should a movie be? Like if you go to the movies, how long do you really expect this activity to take you? Like what would be the ideal amount of time for it? Like does it matter how long it is, or should it be shorter? Like 3 hours is certainly a long time commitment. And I ask you, are you okay with 3 hour movies?
If the movie's good, then for sure 3 hour movies are fine. I thought Endgame went on a little long, but definitely wasn't mad about it. Going into it though, that was definitely something that slowed me down when I was trying to figure out, hey, when do I want to go see this? What time? and just kind of in your head at first you're like, okay, I need to kind of carve out 2 hours in my day, maybe a little more. And it's like, oh no, you got to carve out 3+ hours in your day. It just in your head, I feel like it's just a bigger jump of, okay, if I go in and see this at 8 o'clock, I'm not getting out until 11. It's not a 2 hour thing. So I think that can kind of be a little
Yeah, that's
little bit of a hold up.
that's not including previews, transportation there and back. I mean, this is
Yep.
you're certainly. I feel like this is something that used to be to pass the time, but now it's kind of a hobby for a majority of people based on all the streaming services. I think a lot more people, including us, are a lot more into movies than ever before. Versus in the past, it was like this is just something I'm doing to pass the time, and I do enjoy that. But I think it's a little bit more of a hobby now. A hobby taking up a lot of that time is oh man, that's a big chunk of time. I don't really know. I think is it unfair to say all bad movies are too long?
Well, I wouldn't say all of them, but usually if you do not like the movie, any amount of length is too much, especially as it's going along and you're a half an hour in and you're just feeling it like, nope, this is not for me.
Well,
So I think it depends on the person. It depends on the movie. Like the Harry Potter movies, the Lord of the Ring movies, they were long. You knew they were going to be long going in, but you went in and I mean, I had a blast. I'm trying to think, and there's definitely been other movies that were shorter that I definitely didn't like as much, and
the
we're glad that
finances
they weren't that long.
the finances of everything have to be kind of the real problem of this because I think in an ideal world, wouldn't you rather just break everything up in half, even if it was going to be great? But then you got to advertise, you got to promote for it. I feel like every year you got to come out with something, and then you want to. I don't know. Do you think of some of the movies I just listed, if they were broken down into two movies, would they have been just as successful, or was it good to put them all together and just kind of force people to stay in there that long?
I think that the longer movies are sometimes already have been split up, and I think that if there was an opportunity to make more money, that the executives and the movie people are pretty smart, and they would have already done that, and they've definitely done their research and figured out this is the way to go. And the 1 3 hour movie over 2 hour and a half movies, because if it was more lucrative, if it was more profitable, they would for sure do it.
All right, how long does a movie need to be to get an actual intermission? How long is too long? How long before? I don't care how good it is before it's like, hey, I gotta use the restroom. I've been here for 3.5 hours. Let's let's figure out something here. Let's hit the pause button. I'll come back in like 2 minutes.
I think if you get to that level though, it would probably make more sense, especially with all the options, to just have it not be a movie and have it be a miniseries.
I like that solution. I think miniseries has certainly become a lot more popular. Like I said, with all these streaming services, yeah. If anything, it's almost easier. You release it all at once. It's all done. It's all right, kind of right there. And you can definitely release it by episodes. But if you release the entire package, I see the advantage of that. I don't really know what the answer is either because I had no problem sitting through a lot of these 3 hour movies. But then sometimes on like cable, man, you'll see the Titanic on there, and it's literally like a 7 hour movie on cable. It's
It came on the 2 VHSs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's just that. You don't think that was a sign of like I don't care what the art says. Like maybe this just wasn't meant to be.
That was your intermission.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, did you take the time to rewind it before you put in the other one, or did you deal with that? That was next. That was future Will's problem. That wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw the full Titanic start to finish.
I don't know if I ever did either. I just know that one. I feel like you want to reference like really long movies. I think that one comes up. Like if I were to Google super long movies, that's got to be one of the top ones that comes up.
Definitely like if you're combining longest with popular, I'm sure you could go in longest movie. There's some just crazy indie films that are just ridiculously long.
I'd also be curious to see like what was one of the most respected movies that's like under 2 hours. Like, well, what is one of the most shortest good movies? And I'm gonna say short is something between an hour and a half and 2 hours because I think
there's a bunch of them. That's a sweet spot, man.
Is that the sweet spot?
I don't want to say any of them because then you're gonna go and then it's like, well, this one was actually only an hour and 28 minutes. This one was 2:01. But
right.
there's got to be a ton of movies that a lot of comedies are shorter.
All right, yeah, I'll give you that in the comedies. Do you think they need to be at least an hour and a half? Does it need at least? It's got to be over an hour. An hour 20 just doesn't feel like it was worth it. Then it's funny to kind of play both ways. That you got to hit that money spot, but when you're making
I think
something,
if you
how
make
do you know
it,
what
I
to cut
think you
out?
should be focused on making a good movie rather than what the time is. If all the scenes are good, then you're gonna be good. The movie's gonna be good, and no one's gonna care about the length. It's when it's really bad or it's really long that it's gonna get brought up, and it can be really long, but if it's really good, no one's gonna care. Like the movies that you mentioned that are super long but nobody cares because they're successful.
Yeah, I guess that'd be everyone else's advice. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting topic. I have no problem waiting for it, but like you said, some people got to schedule their stuff around it. I get it. But go see the new Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Uh, I
Should I go
guarantee.
see it?
I mean, are you a fan of Tarantino's stuff already? Like you like Pulp Fiction,
Yeah,
Reservoir Dogs, all that was good. Uh, and if
yeah.
you're a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, they're in two really fun roles. They get to really kind of test out their acting chops. They do a really good job in that. My advice on the movie, and it's just very much like every Tarantino movie, it's kind of take what you can get out of every single scene. It may not seem like there's much of a plot to it, but just take in each and every scene, kind of, really pay attention. Like, oh wow, he's really acting right now. He's really doing some good stuff. This is entertaining. This is fun. I like watching him be this character. Not really sure what this has to do with the whole story, but this is cool to watch. I would go with that attitude into every single scene, and you will not be disappointed. Uh, versus if you're constantly paying attention, looking for twists and things like that, um, it may take a second watch to kind of get all those.
you
Uh,
you made a mistake. You went to the wrong movie.
just nothing's ever going to be easy with Tarantino. It's really the movie itself is really just a day in the life of that time era. Like a day, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a fairy tale taking place in like a Mad Men kind of '60s era of American Hollywood. I don't really want to say any more without ruining anything. But go check that out. It's in theaters. Just came out. The other movie that's coming out, I'm probably gonna go see is the Hobbs and Shaw. I just saw the Rotten Tomatoes came out on that as well. That will be the Fast and Furious spin-off. I don't know if it's technically a Fast and Furious. I don't know if they're calling it that. But if it is, it's number 9. Which, looking back in time, did you ever think there'd be a day there'd be 9 of these?
Definitely not at the beginning, but once it got rolling, it doesn't surprise me. I think
Did
just prints money.
have you watched all of them? Like, have you seen the previous 8?
I didn't see 8.
All right. Well, I just saw 8 probably like a week ago for the first time. I didn't see it in theaters because I was kind of burned out on it. I think the one before that was the Paul Walker had passed away, and I saw that one, and that was
Yep.
like a little bit of like I was kind of ready for that series to end after that. I was, all right, we're done. Look, you're missing one of your key guys now. This kind of the way it ended felt like, all right, everyone just sails off and they're happy ever ending, and we never touch this again. Nope. Nope, we opened the can of worms right back up with 8, and now it's spinning off into this ninth movie, which it's not going to have Vin Diesel in it from my understanding, and I know he's
No, because it's a spinoff.
yeah, I get that, but the 8 one, The Rock and Jason Statham, who are the stars of the new Calvin and Hobbes, not Calvin and Hobbes, Hobbs and Shaw. Yes, can we get them to do that too? Because the chemistry between these two is actually pretty good. I would love to see them, Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin and Hobbes starring The Rock and Jason Statham. Yeah, that
Oh
sounds
man,
good.
now you're talking.
That
You're recovering from your cake problem earlier.
oh now did I gain some
Now you're talking.
listener credibility back? Are we back
Well,
on
I don't
board
know
with
if any
Will?
of them. I don't know if any of them kept listening, but hopefully they did, so they can hear this part where they get some good ideas.
Like none of the listeners speak up. All right, you guys speak up anytime you want. All right, you can post a comment on the website, any of the streaming platforms that we're on. We should be on all of them. Someone leave us like a nasty YouTube comment. I just want to know if anyone's out there. Speaking of that, let's transition to a guy who was also struggling a little bit this week. An inventor fails to cross the English Channel on a jet-powered hoverboard. Hoverboards, 2019. These are things, and I don't really have a good idea of the English Channel kind of distance-wise. You got some more information on this for us?
So he was really hoping that he was going to make it across the channel This is the 110th anniversary of the first plane flight across the English Channel, and there's just been a lot of different aviation, just ways to get across the channel. Whether it's been swimming, uh, every time this is kind of a main thing. The Strait of Dover is 35 kilometers wide. So,
What is that metric?
so that's what, 20 miles ish.
Sure.
So
yeah.
far, but not super far. Math is a little tricky. We're over in Europe, so they're using the metric system, a little different. So he was hoping he was going to make it halfway, and there was a platform that he was going to land on. He was going to refuel, and then he was going to go, and was expecting the whole thing to take about 20 minutes. He was going to be going pretty fast. But yeah, unfortunately, when he was going to land on the refueling boat, his platform hit the flyboard, threw him off balance, knocked him into the water. So no good. He does say that he's going to try it again as soon as possible. He was unharmed, so he's in relatively good spirits. Just really disappointed he wasn't able to do it on the anniversary. But
so is he the inventor of this technology as well?
Yeah.
Oh, so he invented this hoverboard.
This thing's, yeah, it's a jet powered hoverboard. There are 5 mini jet engines on it.
Jet engines?
Yeah.
Oh man, so how high up is he going? He getting on, or is it just like a light hover?
No, he's not trying to get really high. He only got about 15 to 20 meters like up in the air. He's not looking to get really high. Just high enough to get going. Not that 15, 20 meters isn't that. I mean, that's actually pretty high.
That's high. Yeah, no, like if I got hit by a wave that big, I'd be terrified. That would destroy me.
Yeah. I think the first time I read it, just read it quick and read 15 to 20 feet. So it's like, okay, right there. But yeah, 15, 20, yeah, okay, he's up in the air a little bit, staying away from boats.
Yeah.
So he invented it. He's gonna give it another try, but
would this have been a world record?
Seems like hoverboards are a long time coming.
Is this a world record by any chance? Like, what is his real reason for attempting this? He just wants to show that he has a technology in all this. Is he competing against anybody? Is this
like I said, it's the anniversary of the Frenchman Louis Blériot, who became the first man to fly across the channel in an airplane.
Cool. That's actually, I'm sure the video would look a hell of a lot more exciting than us talking about it. But I like that somebody is trying something, and I don't know. I want to live in a world where hoverboards are accessible. Does that sound like something? Would you use a hoverboard if you had one?
Oh, I'd sure use a hoverboard.
I'm trying to think if
He looks like a superhero.
Is this like one of the water jetpack kind of things? Is it kind of
no free? It's not freestanding, but there's no wires. There's no nothing. Just him.
So he's really balancing on a platform that is being powered by jet engines, essentially. So it's kind of like a surfboard that he's standing on, and that is hovering.
It's circular.
Okay, well, all right. So it's closest thing to a magic carpet ride as you're gonna get.
Pretty much, yeah.
Interesting. Where does this go over this? Like, do you think we ever get to the point where these are trusted enough to use in like everyday travel? Like you can see these on the roads, just hovering above everybody.
I don't know. It seems like a stretch, especially it seems a lot safer and a lot closer to just having the self-driving cars.
Yeah, but you're not in the air. I don't know, flying anything. Flying just seems cool. I mean, is that not the coolest superpower you could have?
Oh, super cool, but it's like, but very, very dangerous, more expensive. Just a lot of other things that are kind of holding it back.
Yeah, so were the first cars. So are cars to today.
You don't like heights.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm an advocate for other people to do this. I would be terrified of that. The second you said that high in the air, I was already like, yeah, no, I don't think I could do it. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to say this is cool. I want this to exist. I want to live in the world where that exists. But no, I'm not getting up there. I'm staying down here.
Okay, yeah. It took me a second. I was like, well, wait a minute. You have no interest in flying by yourself.
I mean, I don't think the company of someone else there would make me less scared. I just wouldn't want to be that high up in the air. I didn't.
No, makes sense, man.
No, definitely not my cup of tea. But hopefully he's able to do it. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to follow up on that. Is there
He'll definitely be trying again. Hopefully we have a follow up next week.
any anticipation on when that follow up might be? Like when they might give this a second try? Like, is he targeting a certain date, or are we just hoping for the best?
There hasn't. He did this on the 25th, so this was the end of last week. And so I think I saw some new stuff out today that he's hoping to make another attempt at it pretty soon. And like I said, like he was unhurt. It just kind of had to work out some kinks. It wasn't like he has a concussion and broke his leg, and there's going to be a 6-month recovery time.
Catastrophic
Like
rebuild.
ready to go.
Throw out the plan.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the drawing board. All right, you know what? While we're kind of on the topic of this, I know he didn't break any records or set any records, but let's get to our favorite record-setting game. You ready to play Zach Sets the Record Straight?
I sure am. Let's go. Get it going.
All right, let's get the music queued up here. All right, Zach Sets the Record Straight
Ladies and gentlemen,
is our regular game show that we play on here. It's where Zach will introduce 3 potentially true Guinness World Records, and I need to guess, preferably which one is not true. But normally I just analyze all of them and then make something really ridiculous of a guess. Although I'm not doing so bad. What am I, 1 for 1 so far? Or 1 for 2? 1-1,
Yeah,
lost
yep,
1,
50%.
right? All right, I need to come up with a better way
Yep.
to explain this. Also, I don't know if I want to say you present 3 or I gotta point out which one's not true. Is that basically the point of this?
Yep, one of them's false. 2 of them are real. You got to pick out which one's false.
All right, so let's play Zach Sets the Record Straight here. And what are the 3 Guinness World Records?
All right, first one we got: man jumps 48 inches vertically to break world record. That's the first one. Second one: Canadian town sets record with more than 1,300 wearing plaid.
1,300 people wearing plaid.
All right.
All right.
Third one: man stacks 30 bars of wet soap for record. So we got a guy jumping, we got a bunch of people wearing plaid, and we got a guy stacking soap.
All right. All right. The stacking soap thing just seems ridiculous. Like, I don't. Who is keeping track of that? Who wants to be known as that? Like, would you ever be embarrassed of being a Guinness World Record holder?
I will let you with a little extra on this one. I don't think it'll give too much away, but this was done by David Rush, who holds multiple records, including fitting blueberries into his mouth and balancing a running lawnmower on his chin. If I'm not mistaken, he might have been the fire sword flipper. I'm not positive, but because that guy, if it's not the same guy, was also a multiple record holder of it. Just kind of seemed like looked through the book, found something, and then just kind of focused on it until he beat it. So
All right, so that one's definitely true then.
that's why. So he's clearly not embarrassed by this.
No, not
It's
embarrassed
something
at
he
all.
seeks out.
I'm gonna say, all right, that one's definitely true then. I don't think you can come up with such a backstory and trick me with such a foolish thing. Although maybe he failed. It just seems like a weird. It seems too weird of something. Like, you couldn't even make that up. Like, that has to be true. Now the vertical jump one, that 48 inches is the world record for vertical jump. That doesn't seem. I mean, that is really high too. But I just feel like I know a lot of NBA guys that could do like 40, 42. You know, but it's also
the record for the combine is 44 inches.
well. This also feels like 48 doesn't seem that far away, but it also is like a 100-meter dash where. Yeah, you were 1/10 of a second faster. That doesn't seem like a lot, but trying to shave off those seconds once you're already at that like record pace, yeah, that's really hard to do. I imagine this vertical jump like that. 48. I wanted to think it would be like somebody could have like a 50-inch vertical, but maybe not. And then what is the other one? The 1,400 people wore plaid in Canada or something.
Canadian town sets record with more than 1,300 wearing plaid.
All right, well that sounds laughably true. Like, if I were to judge it, All right, so I'm gonna say the vertical one is the false one. That someone has jumped higher than that, and that is not the Guinness World Record.
You are correct.
Hey, bing, 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 bing. What do you know? So what is the
New York State athlete broke the record when he successfully pulled off a 64.13 standing jump.
Wait, what? How high?
64 inches. And here's where I kind of misled you a little bit. I read exactly what the headline says. Man jumped 64 inches vertically. It's not your vertical jump.
Oh, so what do you get, like a
But
running
I
start?
got that confused too. No. So it's a standing jump, but where you're going for your vertical, like at the combine, you stand as tall as you can with your hands up, and then you jump. And so it's the difference between where your hand is and then where your hand finishes. I'm saying he jumped 64 inches, he picked his legs way up to his chest.
Oh, I mean that is
it's still
really so high. That's very, very impressive.
Really high.
I just like that I was able to deter completely. I didn't even know if this one was definitely false. I just knew the other ones were more likely to be potentially true. That I was completely convinced that yes, there could be that many Canadians at the same time wearing flannels. Like that one seems for sure. That seems like, is that not just an average day in Canada? Like, is that record being broken right now? Or maybe too judgmental on Canada?
Well, it was Platter Day, so.
Oh yeah, see,
special.
Does the United States have one of those days? Did I miss that hashtag day? Hashtag Plaid Day.
Well, the previous record was set in America in the Georgia Dome. No word if they called it Platter Day or
not. You know what? The real hero in this is the soap guy, though, because he's got a whole bunch of records. He knows what he's doing. He already knows what he's on to. Anyways, that was Zach sets the record. I thought I might be able to trick you with
the soap one.
Anyways, that was Zach sets the record straight. Well done again. I'm on a hot streak right now. Can we keep track of this?
You are on a hot streak. 2 in a row.
2 in a row right now.
I gotta step my game up. I gotta come up with some better backstories.
We will be back next week. I kind of like the way, because it still feels like it should have been obvious, and it's not obvious. Like I am so in the dark here. A couple of times, like the very first time I did this, I did think I did the same process of elimination logic of like, well, that seems plausible, and all I end up doing is making a fool out of myself, trying to, give some context to all of this.
The best part is the website I go to has like a handful of these every week. Like I don't even really dig for these. It's just they're always stupid records on there.
I do not want to know the website.
The jumping one was cool. The jumping one I might have brought up as just like a normal topic, but the other two are just like, who cares? 1,300 people wearing plaid. You stacked 30 things of soap. Who cares? But I'm glad I made a game show out of it, because then it works.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm a huge fan of the show. Plus, I like when I win. I really hate when I lose, and I feel like I make a fool of myself even if I win or lose. Me just being very like, you just have to assume stupid things, like assuming Canada would do something like that, and being confident about it. Put it on the resume, right? Just put it on the resume.
There you go.
Anyways, we got a couple other small topics here. Just about 15 minutes left in the show, so we'll wrap things up in a little bit here. Make sure you go check out the website, lcalcb.com. Lots of good stuff on there. I'll make sure to post some videos. Do you have any videos of any of these world records? Like, can we post any of that stuff?
There's a video of the guy jumping.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. We'll put that on the website. So make sure you check that one out later. Is that all right? Hold on. Is there a way to share that without telling us the website? Like, is it on a YouTube channel? I don't want to share anything from the site directly, because then everyone could just go find your records, and I'm not going to cheat, but I would cheat.
That'd get real tricky. You're gonna make me go somewhere else. I'll find you a link. I think it was like a news.
All right. Well,
video on it.
Anyways, make sure you go check out the website, lcalcb.com, and make sure you check out Zach, who's posting cool stuff regularly. Get up to date on whatever he's watching. What are you watching these days?
I am watching Orange is the New Black. Just came out last Friday.
Anyways, you can get up all the up-to-dates of what he's watching and what's going on in his life at his Twitter, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
All right, and now let's transition into a very desperate and wild driving traffic ticket, we'll say, of which somebody tried to, I guess, fool an officer with I'm assuming could be only described as a red Gatorade as his taillight. and he was pulled over
Yes.
for this, for somebody being like, "Hey, your taillight's out," and what he was like, "No, it's not. It's totally working fine."
Got pulled over by the cops. And now, exactly what you described is correct. Now, are you thinking this was a good idea or a really bad idea?
I think it was a waste of a Gatorade for one, because it doesn't light up.
Well, you don't waste the Gatorade, but it's red. All right, you're making an effort. I don't know if the light was broken as well as the plastic. Seems like you're trying to do the right thing, right?
I, I mean, you act like substituting something just red there would be like the logical choice, being like, oh, I just want everyone to know that this part is still supposed to be red here, so don't ram into me. No, that doesn't solve anything.
Safety.
The car is no safer. The car is not any safer to drive with a red Gatorade bottle, a red sports drink bottle. I don't know which one it was. As your taillight, that's not a substitution. That's not even like I'm doing my best.
I'm not saying
I'm doing my best here as a citizen of this country, as a civilian trying to live in a safe community. That's not somebody I would applaud to being like, yeah, that was a safe thing to do. You know.
Well, what would you do in this situation?
All right, you either have a broken one or you don't. All right, you either fix it or you don't.
Okay, your taillight's broken. You go out to your car right now. Taillight's broken. What do you do?
I either drive it around until I get caught and have to fix it, or I go get it fixed immediately, which is what you're supposed to do, or have sort of a plan of when you're going to get fixed. But you don't do anything in between there. You don't just cover it up.
This guy did something. Authorities say the driver was on his way to get the taillight fixed when the officer stopped him, which I'm pretty sure that's just what you tell people. He might have been driving around for a month, like you said, without.
That's exactly what
you're like. Oh, I was on the way, officer.
Yeah, I think that's what you say. That is a smart thing to say. But the officer didn't have a problem with him being like, "Oh, are you trying to pass this off as a workable taillight?"
That's the follow up on this. The headline totally misleading. I wanted to mislead everybody else, just like I was misled, because it says driver tries, meaning like, oh no, he definitely got caught. Nope. Officer said didn't give him a ticket.
Wait, he got out of this,
and then it also said officials say officers didn't ticket the driver who was seen repairing his car later that day.
All right, so are you recommending that people try this Gatorade trick or not? Are you really just recommending that if you get pulled over for something wrong with your car, you just say you're on your way to go fix it? Because what really worked here? Did the Gatorade thing work, or did what I say worked?
One is if something's broken on your car, go get it fixed. That should be it. But two, I don't think it hurts to try to make sure to, figure something out. Hey, here's a little red spot. I don't know. He had a red Gatorade. Or actually, they keep saying sports drink. It sure looks like it was a Gatorade. Can't be sure. But he did take all the wrapping off of it. So I really think he thought this through. Not sure I believe that he was on his way to get it fixed. I could easily see this has been kind of going on for a couple of weeks, and sure you got to say that at that point, and you got to get it over with. But I think he really put some time in and thought, hey, what can I do here?
I'm just imagining getting an fender bender of this guy, and then just having a red Gatorade stain all over my car. just Gatorade everywhere. Everywhere, Gatorade, red. It's like red dye number 12.
It's a Gatorade bottle. It doesn't stain your car, and there's not that much of it.
Stains everything. Gatorade red dye number 12 or whatever. It's impossible to get out. You don't have any Gatorade stains on you? There's not one piece of clothing that you have a Gatorade stain on?
Probably something, but that's clothes, not your car. Your car, it's different.
All right, well, apparently you're not riding with the windows down over there. And what was the heat? Is the heat so wild over there? You guys still struggling with some heat storms? Or is it just regular thunderstorms now?
No, it's hot. It's gonna be August tomorrow. It's the hottest time of the year.
Yeah, time to find somewhere cool where you can relax, like the beach or something.
Yep, that's a place.
Yeah, speaking of travel, there was a man who was trying to travel. Do you know his destinations, where he was trying to go?
Go ahead and venture a guess where this guy was going.
I hope he wasn't heading to San Diego. I was kind of hoping he was heading to your direction. Get him out of here. I don't want this guy. Anyways, this guy was caught trying to check in with a missile launcher in his check in bag. So did he try to carry this on the plane or like put it
No, it was in
underneath?
his check luggage.
So he's trying to put it underneath the plane.
But I'm thinking the only reason is because a missile launcher is kind of big. Like it wouldn't fit in your backpack. You had to put it in like a larger checked bag kind of bag.
You don't think it's one of those like stroller items you just put it to the side and they come and pick it up?
I don't think so.
It's not like a car seat.
No.
Not one of those.
No. Venture a guess on what state the guy was from that was trying to bring in a missile launcher into the country.
Into the country? So what is he, like Canadian?
Yep. He was military. Was in Kuwait.
Oh well.
He wanted to bring it back as a souvenir. Just guess a state. What state does that sound like to you?
A missile launching souvenir. I don't know what state. This sounds really bad because this is exactly the entire point. We play the Zach sets the record straight game where I have to make a wild assumption based on very little stuff, and I either really judge a city or an area super hard and look like an idiot. Like there's no winning in this. I'm not. All right, I feel like this has to be California based on the way you're kind of leading towards it. So I will say California.
No, Texas.
Oh, all right. Well, see, that seems like a wild assumption. Yeah, now all the Texas people go hate on him. All right, I feel like I'm the one who gets in all the trouble and all the regionality. go get Zach for judging you right now. You're not okay with
California? You are way off.
No, I kind of said that just as my own. Like I live here. I can defend these people. They understand.
You are way off. Are you hanging out with people that might bring a missile launcher on a plane? That has got.
No, do you want to hang out?
It.
Do you want to hang out with somebody who's bringing on a missile launcher? I don't think I want to hang out with
No,
those
that
people.
guy's not thinking things through. Not like the guy with the quick thinking putting a Gatorade bottle for their taillight. This guy wasn't thinking at all.
I'm much more likely to hang out with the Gatorade taillight guy than this guy. I think we can all agree on that. So, anyways, how does this play out? So he obviously tries to check it on. So, what do they weigh it? It probably weighs over 55 pounds, I imagine. So he probably paid the extra, right? And then he goes to check in through security, and they catch him at some point later.
So they find it. They get a hold of the military police to, hey, like, is this thing hot? What are we doing here? Finds out it was not a live device, but they checked with the state fire marshal, took care of it, safe disposal, and then the man was permitted to catch his flight. He caught his flight. How was that possible?
Wait, so he was able to load this on?
They just let this man go.
Oh, did they allow the device on the plane?
No, the fire marshal safely disposed of it. It doesn't specify how. It's probably at the fire marshal's house because it's pretty cool looking.
Do you think that's why I didn't get on? You think there's any actual danger of it? It was just more of like, hey, we can't allow this to happen, and I kind of want this.
No, I'm pretty sure you come across something like a missile launcher, you really got to do your due diligence.
All right, let me ask you this: would you ever want this? I don't want to travel with the missile launcher, but do you want to have a missile launcher as a souvenir in your possession? Is that something cool? Like, do you show your friends this? Is like, do you this is like prized possession? Cool. It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. It would look cool like in a man cave or like in a study or something. Not prominently in your living room. I think that'd be a little tacky. But I've seen guys that have like big shells, and I don't know where they acquired them from, but those are pretty cool.
So this man has no consequences of this attempt at all. None. Not even a little bit. Everyone just seems to be totally okay with this.
Yeah. That was my biggest surprise reading through this. Just assuming there was gonna be something at the end of, he was arrested and let out on bail later on, and he'll go to court, and like I said, didn't hurt anybody or anything, but like just no punishment at all.
Did he have any tiny bottles of shampoo with him as well?
Right? Yeah.
Oh,
hold on. This was in his checked-in bag, so I think you're allowed to have that in your checked-in bag.
Oh, that's right. That's right. what a wild story. I don't know. Do you think he went in thinking like part of me would want to just have some faith in security. Like if I were to try I would never try something like this. But if I were, I would just be like, I kind of hope they catch me on this. Like I don't want to get to the other side and then be like, well, where'd you get that? Like, oh well, you're not gonna believe it, but I actually just checked this bag in and kind of brought it right over here. I know it's not anything dangerous, but it probably should have been something that came up on the radar. Like I guess it's a little bit more reassuring that this was caught. I don't really know if I want justice to be held against him. I just want to fly safe. Is that so wrong? But security did their job, right? Isn't that the good part of the story here? Security did their job.
Routine baggage screening. They found it. I think you might be right. Oh man, this bag's real. Yeah. We're gonna randomly search this bag. This is super heavy.
It's probably weird shaped and I don't know. Yeah, that just seems very very unusual. The perfect topic for the podcast, though.
Yeah, TSA would like to remind everybody that missile launchers are not appropriate to bring on an airplane.
Yeah, let's not do that. No. I like flying on planes. Let's not do anything crazy. But you know what? For not really having a whole lot for the podcast, it went by pretty quick. So we got about a couple minutes left here. I'm going to start playing the music and get things wrapped up. Remind everyone to go to soldbywill.com for all your San Diego real estate needs. Lots of good stuff on there. Also, if you would like to show some support for some veterans, my real estate company does a charity every year. The charity this year is a Swingin' with Cell State golf tournament. It's a charity golf tournament benefiting Warrior Foundation, Freedom Station. The big thing they do is they help veterans that come back. Warriors basically in transition. They help them transition to everyday life. And the best things they do is offer affordable housing here in San Diego. They'll help them get cleaned up, find them jobs, offer any counseling. But the one cool thing is that they all live in a community with one another, so they kind of have like a good, strong brotherhood living in this affordable housing area. So I think it's all awesome, all good stuff. If you'd like to be part of all that or help stuff out, we're looking for sponsors, donations, and golfers as well. Check out swinginwithcellstate.com. I'll make sure to post the link on the website as well. Lots of good stuff there. So make sure you show your support if you think you can help out. If you're not much of a golfer, don't worry. We have a option to sponsor one of the Warriors. So one of the people that is actually living there or has transitioned back from wherever, if they are able to golf in the tournament, you could help pay for their startup fee so they can play the tournament at your cost. Anyways, thanks for anyone who does do anything for us. Appreciate that. Fun podcast, though. I don't know. We're going to make it through this sports time of year. Like, this is so dead right now. Tell me next week something exciting happens.
Dude, next week, before we do another podcast, Hard Knocks will come out. That means football is officially started. Training camps are going on. We're gonna have some stories. There's gonna be a bunch of probably stupid stories, but at least it'll be football related.
Oh man, is it too early to I asked you this earlier. Is it too early to download the draft app and start getting my football ready? Like, is it too early to get that ESPN app?
I said yes.
You said yes?
I said not until the draft. You don't need it yet.
I need it. I need it now.
You're going to look at it?
I don't know what else to do on my phone. I feel like I don't do anything on it. Like, it's just pure distracting things. At least I can get something out of that. At least I can actually make some money off of that. You know, all the social media and stuff, it's not the same. It's just time wasting.
God, you should do it then. You know what, don't ask me. I'm not your dad.
This podcast is going to go down as one of my most negative and hating on. Like, I don't think I talked about one positive thing this whole thing. Anyways, I'll be back next week with more takes better than ever. Zach will be here too. Maybe he'll set me straight rather than just the record straight. We'll be back.
We'll come with cake.
Wednesdays at 3. Check out the website, lcalcb.com.
Little column A, little column B.